Low Targ, our friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another Orc Mode workout, and today was max effort deadlift day. I decided to mess with some sumo again because, again, what have I said lately? I'm going to do a lot of things that I know I suck at, and my sumo has gotten weaker. I've been trying to find my ideal stances based on the speed work, and that seems to be it, but these failed miserably today. The next rep coming up, I'm counting it because it didn't feel heavy. Like, I was locking it fine, but I didn't grip the bar good because I tried to grip it and rip it. It's one reason I'm doing so much grip specialization again. Because if I can't just grip and rip even a weight like this for the lockout, and it starts to slip, without setting my grip really good, then we got a problem. So I'm going to keep hammering the grip. I'm using the grip tools that I knew that I needed originally when I had that really, really solid holds above 600. Which is actually surprisingly some pinch block work and other stuff thrown into the workouts, but mainly me using the Captains of Crush grippers religiously, to the point where my hands barely recover. And those seem to have done a lot for me, even though people will argue about them. And when I talk about using them, I'm talking about really high reps, like going above 20 rep sets. But, giving myself the weekends off from them, at least a weekend off to recover. So more and more grip work, but I couldn't get these. And I could talk about fatigue. I could talk about, well, my back was really sore from the rows yesterday, upper back, blah, blah, blah. We don't need BS excuses. I tried this twice and couldn't break it. Now, I could tell which muscles couldn't break it. It's all my hip muscles. In fact, my hips try to rise because my hamstrings are really strong. They're stronger than my hips. Okay? So when I try to grip it, look at that. No. Can't break it. Can't break it. I mean, it broke, but not really. So I know what muscles need to be worked. Abductors, adductors. And I have a game plan for that, because if you guys recall, I was so much stronger at, again, back in January, at conventional lockouts, and just before that, I was a lot stronger on sumos. Those are the same muscles. The muscles that lock a conventional are more or less very similar to the muscles that break the sumo off the floor for the unaware. So we see the same muscles as a weak link on two different lifts. It's all my hip musculature and glutes to some extent. Not that I have weak glutes, but I mean, we kind of get back over to that point of my hips. So these today, I'm going to have to check my ego. The safety bar Good Mornings, I'm trying to treat them like my other bars on the Good Mornings, and these are a different tool. I'm trying to do the power Good Mornings, and I just cannot handle the sort of weights I can handle with the other bars. So I'm going to keep training my neck, and we're going to go over to the sort of Good Mornings we've had to do in the past, which means less knee bend. No power type. I'm going to have to cut the weight way back and just go for range of motion with minimal knee bend, bring the stance in so that we can get a lot of volume on the T-spine, because my T-spine was giving out on these. Okay, and here's what I would say. Normally I like to use a lot of Good Mornings for posterior chain and all that, but in this case, look, as long as we're getting some posterior chain work from it, it's fine. Look how much other posterior chain work I'm going to be doing. And that's not limiting me on these. If anything, it's just forcing me to use weights that I can't handle up top, trying to work my posterior chain. Okay. So rather than even doing a seated one, because I want to do at least some sort of normal Good Morning, I'm going to need to just go back in, narrower footing, drop the weight down, pull the plate off, and just do really high reps to failure. Okay. Build the T-spine up, because we know it's a weak link. It's got to be built. Hips, upper back. And when I say hips, I don't mean just the abductors. I mean the adductors too, because I felt those a lot. I felt those a lot on those sumos. Now, that's going to be a big part of my game plan, is to build those up. Also, isometrics will be coming. I have a lot of equipment ordered. I have over $1,000 of stuff I paid for, but we're dealing in the post-COVID world. There's super long lead times. I'm actually having something manufactured for me that I'm not going to have for at least another 6 weeks. My rack upgrade is coming in multiple pieces. So I'll be able to do some isometrics and stuff with that. I'm going to have some other toys to play with. I've had to source a lot of stuff, but I've been lucky in finding things. All right, on these, I jumped the weight way up. Okay, here's what's going on. I look at when I was good at sumos, right? I did 600 off of a small block pull last year, just under a year ago. I was doing a ton of all these glute bridges and hip thrusts. Now, I was really good at them too, and I was super strong at my lockouts. So these are going to be a mainstay, but I don't want to do hip thrusts. People say, why not? Hip thrusts are just really, really hard on my skin, and people say, oh, that's an excuse. I don't like my hips having enormous bruises on them and my skin being stretched, and that's what the hip thrust does, because it has to drop in that crease. And you guys who are only doing 300 pounds on it don't understand. I was up to where I could do 5 sets of 10 with 455 on the hip thrust and getting stronger. Glute bridges, I was above 500. So for me to go up to 465, and I got like 1 extra rep on the final set, I'm going to keep pushing these, push them religiously. I'm going to get strong again. I need to be back over 500 for sets of 10 and try to get better at holding the lockouts a little better. Right, getting that glute extended. And we'll keep pushing these. We're only going to do 3 sets. Most of these big lifts, guys, I've got to manage recovery right now. So what am I going to do? I'm going to treat these as a more important lift. And those good mornings, because I'm going to be going lighter, I'm going to swap them in the rotation. So I'm going to go straight into glute bridges after squatting or deadlifting, or both. Okay, we'll go straight into the glute bridges. I'm going to hammer those. Let's set a goal. We did 505 for 5 sets of 10 when I was the strongest at them. Okay. Let's shoot for 530 to 550 for sets of 10. Okay. And since we're doing a lot of times 5-pound increments on the jumps, let's get to 545 for 3 sets of 10. All right, there's a benchmark. Now, I can use them with bands. I can do them with chains. People say, how are you going to do bands? Well, with my rack upgrade, I'll be able to do bands over a lot of things. All right, I'm going to start rotating through basic lifts that I know historically have given me the most improvements through Conjugate. And we're going to run variations of those. What are they? Floor press, close grip press, pendlay rows, glute bridges. Okay. As far as barbell movements, I have more barbells coming. We're going to have a lot of barbells. We can rotate through bands and chains. I'm going to start doing pendlays against bands and chains. And straight weight, back and forth. We're going to rotate all these movements around. Get really good at them. And to get variation, that's what I'm going to do. And I know that that's what I need to hit my best lifts. And the thing is that, well, a lot of this I have to look at, what is it doing for 2 types of deadlifts? To doing for more than 1 type of bench. I need to get good at close and wide. I need to get good at not just conventional deadlifts. We already hit big conventional deadlifts. My sumos regress. We need everything strong. In addition to, obviously I'm going to keep overhead pressing and stuff. I'm not ignoring those. And then things like the Glute Ham Raise and the reverse hyper staples, because these have helped, because I backed off. I quit doing all the glute bridges and the hip thrusts and things, and I've built my conventional deadlift off these bad boys. Okay. Now this was harder today, because I did these really strict, got my knees locked at the bottom all the way down, and I'd done all that other posterior chain work, especially with the heavier weight on the glute bridge. These were hard today. I couldn't get my sets of 20s on this ultra hard setting. I got like 18, then like 16, then 13, something like that. And I was hitting failure on them. I hit failure on all 3. So that's all we can ask. I'm on a very hard setting, and I'm a 219-pound guy. So we're just going to take them to failure for now. Will I eventually mess with bands and chains and stuff again on them? You bet. But it's going to be some volume here. And I'll just keep getting my hamstring stronger. But, we see some of the other lifts, and we realize my hamstrings are definitely not a weak link at this point. I need to keep building them, because we can never have hamstrings that are too strong, even from an injury prevention perspective. But I'm going to have to work that upper back. I'm going to have to work all the hip extension again. Obviously, that means glutes to some extent. Definitely abductors and adductors. Okay, the glute bridges will handle a lot of that. We'll handle a lot of it. But I've learned over time, looking through where I've hit different PRs in the training I've done into it, of which lifts seem to do the most for me. And I can't say that the hip thrusts and glute bridges didn't help. They did. And they pretty well carry over to each other. I just find the glute bridge is less monotonous to set up, less negative after effects. So that's fine. Plus I can do a lot with it with bands, chains, whatever I need to do. I'll get good at that. That'll help all my stuff. And then, you know, we need all the upper back. And I have plans for that. So again, entire upper back, all my traps need to come up. And so again, I'm going to work shrugs back in, which you guys will see here in a minute. And again, total raw grip, but my grip was holding really good on shrugs today. So a lot of the grip training is actually working, which, by the way, my grip felt fine on those next two ones when I actually gripped it harder. I just didn't have the hip strength to break it off the floor. Okay, didn't have the hip strength. So we keep working the grip, and we want the upper back. I need all my upper back to grow. The whole thing. Upper, middle, lower traps, rear delts, rhomboids, everything. Not just lats. So we'll make all that happen, rotating the right lift ends, where all the laterals come in, the shrugs, all the rowing, even the overhead pressing. Okay, we need that whole area bigger. All my lifts will benefit. If I build my upper back, every one of my lifts will improve as a result. Sumo probably the least. But at this point, back could start becoming a limiting factor again for me on a conventional deadlift, right? Ability to hold that weight, the isometric strength up there. Keeping the lats pinned back. So the rows and stuff have got to come back in. And again, I've got to continue to lose body weight and body fat. So it's going to be body composition, shoring up weak links. And yeah, this is going to be an ugly phase in my training, guys. A lot of people are going to be like, man, you're missing lifts, you're doing this, you're rebuilding from that shoulder issue. Yeah, and I'm going to rebuild all of it. Okay, but I'm going to be doing some lifts that I know I'm going to suck at. And here's the thing, since I document all of my training, I don't have the option of you guys not seeing it. I mean, I could just say, oh, I just won't do my maxes on camera while I work with the lifts I'm really sucking at bad right now. The variations I really suck at. But that's not how we teach people. I'm documenting all of it. You guys are going to see it. So we're going to go through a rough phase in the training because I've got to find the stuff that I'm weakest at and test it and build it all up. I can't just be good at, the close grip bench and the conventional deadlift. You know, because you guys have seen me close grip 352 this year before the pull-ups hurt my shoulder. You guys have seen me deficit deadlift 625. Okay, but, you know, I need to be strong at everything. And if I can close grip that much, my wider grip needs to be stronger. So we fix all these things. We're terrible at the safety squat bar because I need a stronger upper back. Suck at sumo because I need stronger hips. But it's all going to be documented. You guys are going to watch me struggle. You guys have watched me go through times where I hit the big lifts and big PRs at stuff I'm good at. It's like, oh man, Jason's rocking. And I've had a lot of trolls come in the last couple of weeks who literally think that me actually documenting the stuff I'm bad at and to improve on it is somehow worthy of attacking. And it's like, I'm just banning, guys. You guys are ridiculous. You know, if anything, it's being honest and transparent and confident. Like, you can't make fun of that. That's stupidity. I'm documenting for people, hey, this is the stuff I'm really bad at. I'm going to display it. We're going to analyze it. And I'm going to use all that analysis to get better. Okay? But it's all going to be there. And there are going to be people who might say, oh man, this is weak or that's weak and you suck. Because I got a lot of that. They're like, oh, you've been training that long and you're that weak on an exercise. Like, yeah, but look at my other lifts. Come on. I literally have elite numbers on some lifts. But we need to be elite at everything. Conventional and sumo deadlift. We need to be elite on multiple bars in the squat. We need to be elite on wide and close grip benching. Right? We need to get good at everything. So we've got to test stuff. How are we going to find our weak links otherwise? We find our weak links. We analyze it. And we attack it. Always improve. But now that I've got a good feel for what causes me to regress on some things and progress on others, I know where to find that balance. I'm starting to learn more and more of which supplemental lifts for my structure really give me the carryover to each lift, and that way we maintain the strength year round eventually on everything. Okay, so that we don't, oh, the conventional goes up and the sumo goes down, and so on and so forth. No, we've got to learn to just keep getting stronger across the board. We need to be all around strong and stay all around strong. And it's developing in front of your guys' eyes. We're doing it real time. All right, guys, well, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.